Everybody, welcome back to Super League Live with me and my main man, Pro Check Art. Art and I are going to be discussing a little bit about what happened this season with the 2025 D1 players from 46th on back. We've been doing a little bit of a mini series. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to the series. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish it off. We were supposed to finish it last week, but some technical things happened. So we're now going to finally finish off the recap of the guys that were 46th on back. We will have a separate episode for the guys that get promoted. Don't expect that till January, and it will not be a part of Super League Live. It'll be probably something different when we do with this show. We'll talk about the future of this show a little bit since this is our last episode of this specific topic. Art, joining us as always. Art, thoughts on this? Obviously pretty simple, just going back on what we did this year with the players 46th on back. A little some memories as well. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, and here's the thing. When we talked about the people before, we talked about a lot of good things. Even though we're going to talk about this back half of the field, that doesn't mean these players did terrible things or had something happen to them that just made us talk bad about them. Some of these players just had some bad luck, and unfortunately, they got placed at this far back. So hopefully, we'll see a lot of good things. Hopefully for these people.
Yeah, it's been a rough stretch for these people. As we said, we left off on our final player, which was Seth Cole. And we're going to start it off right off the bat with Austin Rogers. And he had two big wins. The first one, probably the most important win of his season, was Peter Onjak. You know, that was his last win on the second one. But getting a win on Peter Onjak, 2-0 lifetime against him, and then that Chomik win, which, of course, Chomik was not the same player. Let's be honest. But that was a big win for Austin Rogers on Chomik, of course. 2-5. He had a better year this year than last year. I think he could make a wave. He's definitely one of the players that could make a wave next year, especially considering he is one of the more active players in the league. What's your thoughts on Coach?
Well, Rogers, yes, he got that huge win over Peter. When you beat someone like Peter Onjak, huge accomplishment there. Chomik, different story, but I think if he can do better in a couple of these tournaments and get maybe one or two more wins out of them, he could try to bring that consistency back up. And who knows, he could be in a higher position there where he was this year.
Yeah, Coach is a good player. He's got good ammo control. I think. Well, it's not. I think. I know. It's distractions. At the end of the day, for a guy like Coach, he's married. Let's be honest, and there's not many married players in this league. Only him and I believe JT. There are some. Well, technically Mac was, but there's only a couple players that are married and have a lot of responsibilities off the table like that. Priorities that you don't see a lot, let's say, in Division Two. It's going to come down to priorities for him. It depends on what his priorities are. If he can get those straight, he could have a good season next year, but we'll see. Not going to spend too much time on Bowtie. A lot of rumors surrounding if Bowtie's finished or not with his career. If he's not fit, we'll kind of go in. If he's not finished, are your thought? I'm not going to say too much. He had an okay year. Hard to say if he's coming back. So if he is coming back, thoughts on what he can do. If not, if this is the end of the road, thoughts on his career. He had some. His most famous win was Yepes, for sure.
Yeah, that was probably it. And this is the end of the road for him. And it kind of stinks that he didn't do a bunch of big stuff, but at least he'll go down with at least winning some big key matchups in his career.
Hard to really say if this is the end. If it is the end of the road, I'm going to remember that Yepes win. If it's not the end of the road, he could have an impact next year, but it's hard to know. So I can't really say. He had an okay year. He had that big Leo win, really. That was and Lamas, or no Lamas, somebody else he beat. Oh, Varigo. He beat a super leader. So, yeah, those were the two big wins for Bowtie, but really hard to know if he's coming back. As we go into Ellison, I think Ellison, he'll be back. Huge year for him. I mean, to beat Andy, that's not easy, man. To take care of business against Andy and really put his name in the forefront, super leaguer. Now, Andy, of course, top 5 player in this league, at least for 2025, and made a lot of noise. I think he's on the rise. I know he had a tough one against Tapir and couldn't really get anything going there at the start of the year. Just started kind of bad. But he played some tough competition, 2 wins compared to 0 for most. I think he can make a stride for next year. Thoughts on Ellison? I think his ammo control's gotten way better than the past for sure, too.
Yeah, and maybe there's some things that he needs to work on during the offseason. And here's the thing, long offseason. He's got a lot of time to prepare a lot of different changes that he could bring to the table for next season. And if he can bring in some surprise into T1, who knows? It could be a interesting year for Ellison.
I think James could get a 3, 4, 5 win season. I think he'll be in the hunt. Maybe not in the hunt for Super League, but in the hunt for top 30. And that's all you can ask for a guy like that that's been pretty much nowhere his whole career. So to be in the hunt, that's going to be a big statement, and to be in a really statement where he can get a couple, 2, 3 wins off big players like he did this year with Andy, for example, then watch out. But until then, can't really say other than that what he'll be able to do. All right, your next guy up is one of your favorite players in the league, buddy, Radden. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man, where do we begin with this guy? I think off tables, it needs to be fixed. The problem with Radden is, I can't even say anything bad about his on table because he did beat Yoshi. Yeah, it was controversial. But he played Myth tough. He played players tough. The problem is he self-destructed on his own. And ended the year mistakes against Acosta, most notably with scheduling, and just he got in his own way. And I think he can become a good player, but you got to get out of your own way. And we talk about one thing in this league: scheduling is professional up here. This is no offense to other leagues, but you have to know how to schedule in this league. You got to be a pro. This is not like any other league you'll ever see. With the media and the coverage probably amping up next year, it's not going to be going down with these live shows now becoming a thing. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. I expect this to be a year for Radden of learning, and if he doesn't get that year of learning, then when's it going to be? It's going to be make or break. I know he's going to be in D1 as long as he can. He's not going to retire, but in terms of composure and mentality, it's got to be now or never. Your thoughts on Radden, honest assessment, because there's a lot to say with him.
Look, I'm gonna just be straight up here with you. Radin on the table, okay. Without some of the controversies, he can be a good player. He's got to stop with the off the table antics, really. And I'm being brutally honest. If he can get out of his own way, not cause himself to make those crucial mistakes off the table, and not bring them on the table as well, he can be a force to be reckoned with. If he can get everything out of his head and focus on just trying to compete at the top level, he is going to be a threat. But until that point, if he just got to get all that cleared out. That's all he has to do. But I don't know what can be what's going to happen with him next year. Really and truly honest.
It's a TBD, to be determined on where he's going to end up personally. I'm just not sure where his head's at. That's the problem. And I think he has the potential to be a good player, but if you can't get it together done off the table, it's going to affect your own team. And next year, we talk about there's not many cupcake games. There still will be. I don't want to hear, oh, there'll be no cupcake. No, that's ludicrous. There's still going to be games where there's cupcake. Trust me.
Yeah, but there's not going to be that much.
Yeah, there'll be a couple. It's not like now people want to know when's the league going to become cupcake list. Or you have to understand. Jesse, we'll talk about him, was a cupcake game this year. That's the problem. Like when we talk about cupcake games, we're talking about quads, quad 1 through 4, right? In terms of skill, yeah, no, JT ain't no slouch. We'll talk about the guys that really need to step it up. Now, This next, well, never mind. Same story, just double it. Camaro 55. Oh god. Another one. Same problem. Off the table. On the table, look, he played Sanford well the second time. He beat Sanford the first time, but he caused too many problems, and he got lucky with the sense that gone DQ win. Because if it wasn't for that, he may, and we didn't have a bunch of hoopla on the back at the end of the season, he may be relegated again. He got a little break, but I'm going to say the same thing as Ryan. It's going to be another make or break here. He's got to work on off the table, and if he can, then he could be a big force to be reckoned with. Because he's got potential, but if he can't, he needs to clean up spatial awareness, got to clean up mistakes. That's just how I see Camaro. He's almost like another Rad. Thoughts on Camaro 55?
He's sort of this, it's kind of almost the same thing. I gotta be blunt here. I gotta be almost brutally honest here. He's got to clean up that off the table antics. On the table, he could be a good player, but off the table, you got to clean that up. If he can clean that up, Camaro Man 55 could be, again, as you said, a force to be reckoned with, and I think he could do well. It's just going to be another to be determined on how he can do for 2026.
Yeah, too much Radden in a sense. We're going to have to find out what Camaro will have in store until we know what he does off the table and brings it on the table. It'll be dependent on how it can affect him. That's what I feel. It's a cause and effect with Camaro, Radden, guys like that. Speaking of which, another guy, like I said, it's a pattern. Allen. Oh boy, another one that. Yeah, but this one I think is more life. I know Allen, I know Rogers, I know Ellison, I know Camaro personally, right? Or at least have a view. But Allen, out of all these guys we're going to mention, along with JT, M, a couple others, Eric, I think Allen's just had a rough time off the table, man. And, we have no idea where he's at. There's a lot of rumors circulating that he could be retiring even. I don't think it'll be next year, but the year after even. I don't know. I think he needs to worry about off the table more honestly. Or I can't really put a projection on where he's going to be. There's a couple people who are going to be like that, and we just wish him the best. He's had a rough year and a half. Thoughts on Allen? It's sad to see because we all remember him for what a great game he played against Ashley, and then ever since then it's been just in the toilet.
Yeah, that's been the case really in point. And I think Allen's look, he's not a bad player. It's just consistency wise, it's a midst of hoopla really. He kind of he can if he can play well throughout the season and not be sort of these sort of going back and forth between being either good or being a little inconsistent, it, then he would be a good player. It's just I don't know what much to say on him for next season.
Yeah, I don't have much of an answer on what Allen's gonna do. To be honest, it's like I said, maybe there's a way to change his style because ironically, I was gonna say the same thing with Allen and the same with Shamik. Split ammo. We know Allen and Shamik are the two guys that love split ammo, but when everyone's integrated into the system, it's hard to really bounce off those ideas. So I'm not sure where he's going to land in the pecking order. We'll see. We'll have to give him a pass on that one. See where he can go up to. Now Jenna, I didn't see much of Jenna's gameplay. It was a rough year. I think just being a rookie, unfortunately, it's part of it. When you're a rookie, you pretty much have to. Let's face it, you have to learn on the fly, and I think Jenna just didn't get used to what the D1 gameplay was and kind of faltered. Very lucky to be here. Just going to be honest, Art. Extremely lucky to be here. I think could have easily been not retired. Could have been relegated again. But regardless, I will say, Jenna's going to be in a make or break year off of a lot of things. So I'm expecting her to get 2 or 3 wins next year, but it could still be the same type of season where it'll be a tougher draw. Was that the fair assessment? Hard to know because I didn't see much of her gameplay.
I didn't see much of Jenna's gameplay here, and I think you kind of hit it right on the noggin. I'm gonna really, I think needs to fix it up just a tad bit with the style per se, and who knows? Maybe if Jenna comes in with a newfound success and does a little changes, who knows? Maybe Jenna could be a player to beat.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be an off season of understanding and development for Jenna. Speaking of, we don't know. Where are we gonna even think about Retro here? Retro had that big win against Lamas, and that was it, and has fallen off the face of the earth. Similar to Bowtie, I don't know the confirmed reports of Retro's coming back. Don't know. It's still TBD. Um, don't have an idea on that, so I really don't know what to say about Retro. The only thing I will say, if Retro does come back, then there's a chance that he could be a threat because, ironically, he averages 2 or 3 wins a year, or he's something like that. He averages 3 because he had 4 out for his rookie year, I think, 3 or 4. But if he doesn't come back, composure is a problem, and we'll remember him for bad composure problems. Thoughts on Retro? Hard to know. Now we're getting to the bottom of the barrel. We don't know if they're even coming back.
Yeah, and again, this is the part where we aren't going to say much bad things. It's just try to. If this is it, oh man, that is not the way you want to go out. As being remembered for a guy that has had terrible composure, and you don't want to be remembered for that. But if he does come back, if he can fix up the composure, also fix up that style a bit, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, it could be a whole lot different.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot different, Art. That's the best way to put it. We just don't know, man. We just don't know what is in store for Retro. We may come back, may not. It's hard to know. It really is hard to know, and wish Retro the best, and we'll see if he comes back. For Zach, we know he's retired. He was the last one. Not going to say much about him. We honor the legend. He leaving for a good reason. He'll still be on the team with the Cards and all that. I don't have much to say about that. He's a guy that's been well respected in the organization. Always going to be a generational guy. I have nothing but respect, Art. Thoughts on Zach, just as a player, and what he meant off the table as well.
As a player, he did all right. I'm not gonna say that he was bad, but he did all right. Yes, his play style was a bit wonky at best, but it was all right. Off the table though, respectable guy. I have. He's kind of one of those people that I can give respect to for what he has done for the league instead of doing things on the table.
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. I think that's a way more than fair assessment. Um, yeah, that's more than a fair assessment, I would say, Art. He's been a guy that's been around the block, and I think for somebody like that, it opened up a lot of opportunities, and he opened up a lot of opportunities for streaming, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing tonight. Streaming, he was the OG of that, and I'll always remember and never forget that. So he's a legend in my book forever. Eric, I think Eric, the thing with him is it's just ammo control. He has to work on ammo control. If he can just work on ammo control, he can get his first career win. That's going to be the key for my personal belief with Eric. I think he's still a guy that when he comes back here next year, he's going to get a fresh start. And when you get a fresh start, man, you can really load up and make a difference. So I'm going to say for Eric, it could actually be a 2 or 3. He might get his first win and maybe get 2 or 3 wins next year. Is that a fair assessment? Because he has potential compared to other people with 0 wins in the past.
Uh, I would think so, and yeah, if he can work on that ammo control, not if he because here's the thing: a lot of people in this league do great with ammo control. They are great with a bunch of stuff, but ammo control has become one of the main uh things here that goes in with every player. If he can work, if he gets that worked on, who knows? We might actually be celebrating him getting that win. Just maybe, and I hope so. And he would be someone that has been well respected by everyone. That if he can finally get a win, it would be a party for him.
It would be a party. It would be. I mean, we would all appreciate that. Um, but until then, we don't know what he can do. Last couple people we don't know too much about. Well, I'll go to the bottom half before we get to the last couple people. Kev Shearer wishing the best on retirement. H wishing the best on retirement. Grimm's a legend. Wish him the best. Obviously, he's going to be away from Discord. Those three we know aren't coming back. Knight will be back. He'll probably be back in D2. Wish him the best. So now we'll get to the top, the people that will start. Austin LaPlante not coming back. Wish him the best as well. Now the final people are more questionable. This guy's coming back and needs to really learn the master's class because he'll probably be dropped. Jesse Turner, what a bad. I know already you've had history in the past with him, but you don't want to see this for a guy like that. And I think you guys have buried the hatchet. He's not public enemy number one in your book anymore. And yeah, man, I just wish him the best.
Yeah, that very.
Because
Yeah, that.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's someone that you don't want to see down there. And yes, I have buried the hatchet, and I do have a new number one public enemy. I don't want to say who it is. That could be a discussion for me, myself, and I. But this this player, Jesse Turner, he was at the highest of highs. He was near the top of the mountain last year in Greece, and it's like something came in and it just completely wiped him out. And I, I thought Jesse Turner was going to be a guy that was going to make a run again to make Super League, and he never showed. And it's so bizarre. I think I think he is having like one of those like a sports team that always had like that great season. He's gone to that part where it's downhill, and now he's gonna go into next year, try to rebound, try to rebuild, and see if he can get back to that position. It's just gonna be difficult to see what happens with him.
Yeah, there's a lot with JT. I think he's too much of a good player to just see him down there again. I think getting married last year. Now I know he's going to be moving this year. I think he had a lot of distractions behind the radar. And look, man, that can affect anybody. It's not just I can come. And he had some bad losses. Tapiri should have won. Should have beat Leah if it hadn't been for some issues with the bot or not the bot Discord. There was just too many things that happened where he really was a 2 or 3 win player in disguise, and he probably could have got 4 or 5 wins. Just unlucky, and it happens. And I think he could turn it around and get 8 or 9 wins next year, and we would not be shocked because he's that good. So he's coming off a 16-win season, or I mean 11 or not 16 wins. Yeah, I think it was a 16, 11 regular season wins. Then he had, was it 4?
Then he dominated basically.
It was 17 wins. 17-win season last year, right in 2024. That's crazy.
He was 1 win short of a Super League victory,
and he's never been the same since that Leah game. I mean, the Ashley game, whatever. I'm not going to fault him; it was Super League. But ever since that Leah game where he got torched by Discord and just it was so late at night where he was basically sick. He hasn't been the same guy, and I think part of it is just how good the league is and how part of the game is now becoming you got to be on the game mentally and sharp, and if you're not having a normal day, you're not sharp, it ain't gonna work. So He'll be bouncing back though. It is JT. I'll never count him out, man. He's too good. He's too good of a guy to just let's count him out. Way too good. Way too good. And at any given day, he can turn up, and we would not be shocked. Not shocked at all. Well, the last couple people we have M. We'll be back. M will be back in D1. All I'm going to say with M is depends on her teaching thing. If her teaching thing goes well, then we could see M actually make a couple runs because M was close a couple times, man. Unfortunately, it just kind of got to the point where life came in order and cost her some time, and it cost her maybe 1 or 2 wins. So that's my thing with M. It's just if she can get her off-table stuff together, then maybe she can be good. But thoughts on M, Art?
I guess this is almost kind of going into the Jesse Turner situation. Off the table distractions kind of just hurt M's focus really on the game. So hopefully M can also do well coming up in 2026. If M's focus is straight, yeah, you might be right. M can make some runs. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with them, man. It's yeah, I know her personally. It's going to come down to just this. She's not distracted. Let's just call it like it is. Distractions are key in this league. If you're not distracted, then you'll be good. The last couple people, LaPlante's gone, so it leaves Steven and Dart. Steven, now, here's the thing with him and Dart. Because we don't have a relegation tournament and everyone kind of got a free pass, in theory, those guys could come back to D1. Here's why. Because we don't have a relegation tournament. We basically said we're not doing one, right? And we're losing 3 people. Obviously, 2 people. Ashley and Vapor, right? And then there's rumors that, we're losing Zach, but that's confirmed as well. We don't know about Retro. We don't have no idea about Bowtie. We think Carson's coming back. We don't know about Retro and Bo. The rest should be back, right? That in theory. So when you do the numbers, Kev's gone, H is gone, MGR, Knight, they're gone, right? They're the bottom 5, 60. There's no Ashley, there's no Vapor, right? There's no LaPlante. So that's 7 gone. That's down to 57. Then you throw in, okay, no Zach, that's 56, right? No Ashley, no Vapor, down to 54. Eli comes back at 55, right? Then if we lose Carson, Bo, Retro, it's 51. So if they come back, that they would technically be 53. I don't think Dark is coming back, but you never know. Steven, he has the option to change his mind if he wants to come back to D1. I'll allow it because we're losing so many people. But the way I see it, I think we're going to end up in the ballpark around 53, 54 people. If they come back, I'll have to ask both of them probably when we get close to the season. Steven could change his mind. For Steven, it's pretty simple. If he comes back and he wants to do D1, he's got to change his entire mindset. His mindset needs to be completely 180. Or it really needs to be a 720. It needs to be a double 360. Because what he did on the table this year, I saw 0 growth. Or no growth. He made the D2 championship and won it. He looked better in Super League last year than any point this year. I don't really know what to say, man. It was just a year from hell. That's all I got for Steven. Thoughts on him, because this was not a class performance from a D2 champ.
No, it wasn't. And here's the thing: you got to think about this. He won the D2 championship last year. He did all right in Super League. It just went completely downhill from off season 2024 to the regular season 2025. Here, it just went completely nowhere. And this is where a lot of people that are coming up from D2 to D1 gotta worry about. How are you going to change your style coming up to the big leagues? And that's for everyone down there. How can you make the big jump? Steven is not a good example of somebody who made a jump because we saw that. I think if Steven can change it around, and if he does come back to D1, if he finds a way to change that style, find some new rhythms, find some new strategies, finds a new way to get around certain issues, he could make that this year look like a year to be forgotten as far as Uno play. It's just going to be what can he do during the off season.
Yeah, off season, we'll see what he can do. As for Dark, if he comes back, like I said, we don't know. If he does come back and everything's good, I don't know, because everyone says his style sucks, but since considering what Acosta just did and he made Super League, maybe there's a method to the madness where it could actually work. So I'll leave my reservations about Dark. He was a guy that finished fifth 2 years ago. Finished fifth place, man, in the tournament. He's a top 5 player 2 years ago in one tournament. He knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. Can't say he's not a bad player. It's just going to come down if he can adapt. If he does, I got to give him a chance. Now, if he doesn't, then who knows? But if he does come back, can't rule him out. It's Dark. You never know with him. The chess master. Thoughts on Dark, and if he comes back, what he can do.
Well, and here's the thing. We are now starting to see with some of these players the method of going very, very slow. And here's the thing, it might be a crazy method there. It might be madness in a sense. But you know what? Some people might like to have crazy ideas like that. If you can play that sort of style, and if Dark can return and bring that same madness, but with a little twist, he can he can get back to being that player that can finish fifth in a tournament. He can be that sort of guy that is going to make people almost play chess instead of checkers. That would be a guy that could almost try to be consistent enough to almost make a Super League run.
Yeah, I really do think that if Dark can make a run, if he can make a run, he can make a push and gets back in here with a fresh mindset. I would not rule him out. I would not rule him out to give him a chance. I really wouldn't. It's too hard just to rule him out over anything. So I'm gonna say Dark's got a slight chance. Maybe it's not a big chance, but a slight chance to make a run. If he can come back with a fresh mindset in January, then so be it. Now, I don't know. This is it's always an interesting moment. That's our last player, and like I said, if you're keeping score at home, the bottom 4 aren't coming back. We know LaPlante's not coming back. That's 5. Zach's not coming back as 6. Ashley's not coming back as 7. Vapor, here's the thing with Vapor. He's not coming back as of now, but he hasn't seen the new calendar. We know the new calendar. And all I can say is there's a 10% chance that new calendar might work in his favor. So I can never say, he's not. We don't know. Right, so he may still come back because the new calendar is going to work a lot quicker than people think, which it could change people's perspective. A year from now, Art, we're probably finishing Super League. That's how crazy this new calendar is going to be. And I know Cody Smart's in the audience, but we're talking this next year is going to be a lot quicker than people think. This is probably going to be the last year of Super League finishing late. Now, the reason why we don't like finishing late October, late in the year, is two. One, NFL. Okay, NFL is the number 1 sport in the league, or number 1 sport in the world. People want to watch NFL. I get it. Number 2, more importantly than just that, though, is you got to understand, thing starts in January for us. As commission members, we start all the processes mid-January. That's when our off season is pretty much over. Mid-January, we start. January 10th, at least for me. Some of you guys may get extra breaks. But January 10th through the 17th is a big week. Then there's the 17th through kind of announcing stuff for 2020. Then we get a couple off weeks. Then we start D1, right? And then we have off-season meetings in October, right? And then a little bit November. And then all we really have off is November. If we count the off-season, we don't count the off-season matches. This is a one-time thing. We really only have off November, December, and half of October, and half of... It's only 3-month off-season for hosting this thing. That's it. It's short. Now, if we finish her up in September, then all of October is now free. All of November is now free. All of December is free. January would be half off, but we would have basically 4 months off at the equivalent. And a little bit of September would also be free. A little bit, a couple days. That's the optimal calendar. I know it's not fun. It's not sexy for the people that want to keep playing, but yeah, 4 months off. We have to understand we take over 10,000 hours probably to run this league. Not 10,000 hours. Probably 5,000. Well, if you throw D2, maybe 7,000. Count all the stream games, you count all the scheduling, you count all the media, you count everything. It's a lot of work. So I can't say who's getting promoted or not. Because we know the 8 guys that got, okay, they're here. All right, so let's say the final total is you have, let's say hypothetically, let's just say we lose everybody, right? So we lose Ashley, Vapor, the people at the bottom 4, right? So that's Knight, MGR, H, Kev. We lose Dark, LaPlante. So that's 6, that's 8. We lose Retro, we lose Carson, that's 11. We lose Dark, it's 12 people, right? Eli comes back. So that's 11. Then Steven comes back. That's 10. You have to understand, that's the worst case scenario. The most I can see getting promoted from D2 is 11 or 12 people. Right. Now, if Vapor comes back, we see Dark back, we see Steven back, we see Retro Boat and Carson all come back, then it's just going to be 8 people. Right? Because we cut the relegation tournament because there was just too many instances of hoopla and hoops, and we didn't know who was going to be committing or not committing. We're not going to know until January. Right? We're not going to know until January who's coming back, who's going to be promoted. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, and until we know, that's a problem for January 10th. Okay, that's a January 10th problem, or January 5th problem, whenever the hell we get done with New Year's. So I know people were asking me, well, what's the final? I don't have the answer. I want to make this clear on this show. I don't have the answer on who's going to be the roster for next year. I don't ask people from Super League if they're coming back. I don't ask people to finish top 25. Why? Because I know they're coming back. They're going to come back. Unless you're Vapor, who I'll check in with. They're all come back. Even top 30, they'll probably come back. Right? Except for Ashley. It's just 35th on back. I don't know. Right? Those are the guys I have to figure out where their head's at. And most of them want to come back. So, for those of you asking, is it going to be 12 people? Is it going to be 8? Is it going to be somehow 15? I don't have the answer. Right? And until I know, until we start getting to January, the 1st of January, and it's a new league year, and we're going to discuss a little bit about that as we enter the final stages of this show here. I want people just to be patient. You have to understand, when we finish up Super, I cannot just jump into D1 stuff right away for 26. I need time off. Okay, this is not the only thing I do. Right? This is not the only thing Art does. Believe me, as much as I love this league, I need some time. You have to understand if we had an off season last year, I bet you I feel way more fresh than I am right now. It's toll, man. And I'll talk to Art. You know how much of a grind this is, man, to do this? We'll be on year 4 next year, right, of the league. But for us, you, me, and Fitz, this is year 5 coming up. Right, we started this thing in 20. This is a lot. You have to understand, we're getting to a life cycle here where Art and I have been working tirelessly on this show specifically to get you guys the content. And it's fun. I enjoy it. But there's still a lot of learning because technical difficulties we can't control Discord. There's also we have to manage what is Discord going to be in a year. I don't think it's going to IPO this year, and I don't think it's going to IPO in Q1 or 2 next year. If it does IPO, it's at the end next year, and then how does that affect 27? I don't know. There's just too many variables on what's going to happen to figure out, you know, the future. So, Art, I want to give it to you. Your thoughts on the guys coming up, just briefly, and what do you expect from the people that come back, and overall thoughts on 2025 in general?
Well, to those that are going to come up, just think about what I said earlier about what if you're gonna try to do something here, if you're gonna be able to make those sorts of changes. There's a couple of them that are gonna be able to do that. And for those that are gonna come back, let's hope so. Let's hope you come back. Because things are starting hopefully to come come for the better. We're gonna see hopefully brand new changes that are going to make people enjoy this. And that's what we want to have, is for this to be enjoyable, to have fun. We are we don't want to have people just to be like bored of this. Is it then it's not fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. It's a grind, man. The hosting on this thing is a lot, and people don't understand that this league is not run on. Oh, well, this is how hard is it to host? No, you don't understand. This league is, including D2, but this league is specifically D1, is a lot. You have to understand when you get to Super League, when you get to T1 is okay, T2 is okay, T3 even that's fine. But once you start getting to T4, T5, and then you get to Super League when you're going all out, max effort, yeah, you're done. You're shot. You're mentally shot. Right? You need time off, and I don't think people understand that. And if they do, I appreciate it. But you have to understand, as much as I love to go in 24/7 and bang out a couple more off-season meetings off the start of October, we have to be patient. And once that patience is rewarded, you'll become more appreciative of what we do. So that's the one message I have tonight with this. Just be more appreciative of what we do. Because I don't think a lot of people understand or maybe I guess leverage that. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's basically D1 overall. Some fun memories. As a host, it's always fun doing this league. I have so much fun. It really is it's evolved, man. As a host, I used to be doing a lot of stuff in the first year of this dang thing, and I just wasn't a fan of it, Art. When I was at first year, I thought we were in trouble. I really did. I thought there was times where it just was stressful, and I didn't know how I was going to go when I was on vacation overseas one year. I just thought we were going to be a disaster. And now we've come a long way, and I know a lot of people aren't going to hear this, but I thank everybody for making this league what it is. The advisor stuff has helped a lot. The fact that I don't got to ref every game, I don't got to stream every game anymore, I think I'm more, reliant in a sense of other people, and I can be more happy about it. Compared to when we first started, it was hard. I remember those days, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it maybe in my CEO corner. With my what happened last year, I won't discuss off the air. I'll talk about that off the air. I was, or I told you privately last year when we were going through it with the emergency chat. I thought this league was done. I thought the worst. Right, there were some things that privately I thought something was going to happen with myself and other things, and I thought we were done. I thought, man, this is it. We may never do this again. And I'm glad we're in a better spot, and that chapter is behind me, and the whole chapter is behind in the league. But yeah, I mean, overall, hosting wise, it's been fun, and I can't wait for next year. It's gonna be a fun year. Any final thoughts? What you learn from a host this year? Any final thoughts? What you learn as a man running this? Go ahead.
Well, well, from this, you're learning as being part of this. Here's the thing: people, if people enjoy this, I can say at least we have done what we need to do. Because if we weren't doing what we need to do here, and it doesn't matter if it was D1 or D2, if we don't do what we needed to do, then we haven't done our job. But as far as myself as a person, you know, eh, I I don't think I have much to really think about as far as myself as a person. People might say I've learned some things, and yeah, there's always those daily things, but it's just always in. I guess if there was, it's sort of enjoy the moment.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. You never know when it's gonna end, and I think that's the one message everyone should be having. Uh, I don't know. That's all I can really say. It's tough to think about, but there is going to be a day where this is going to end, and you got to remember every moment of. So. That's it, folks. We'll end on a more positive note. Tomorrow, 1:00, Acosta interview. Cannot wait for that. Then tomorrow, I promise you, will be 7:00. Not this was a rare 8:00 stream. We will have a nice little setup. Week 3 recap, week 4 preview, little clinching scenarios, talk about some of our picks. Say goodbye to Gon and Toasty, Art. That's it. They'll be on a week 5 bye. We know we won't spoil anything for the fans, but we know certain things happen with that group, Group B. And yeah, join us for 3 straight games on Friday. My gosh, 1:00. We'll start it off with background Acosta. Then we'll go to 4:00, which will be. Already forgot. Nick's game. Yeah, Nick. He'll be playing at 4:00 with Gone. And then 6:00, Farragold Toasty. That'll be the 3 games Friday. I believe it's going to be set GG. I don't know if it's going to be a G stream at 6 confirmed because Short might have a chance. I'll need to confirm with him on that. And then I believe Caesar and Lara will be 2:00. Now, for those of you wondering, are we going to still do the 3 days off for week 5 as per tradition for media and stuff? That is looking like to be the case. However, let's say one group is already locked up and they're meaningless games, and the other group has all the meaningful games. Sometimes I'll allow the meaningless games to play early because if they're meaningless, then we just want to get them out of the way. There's nothing really to talk about other than positioning, and we've seen over time with this format, 1 to 3 is, doesn't matter. You finish first, third in group, you're still in, so it doesn't really matter on that element. But keep that in mind. The 30th might be still an option for playing. If not, if every game is meaningful, and considering there is one guy in week 5 that doesn't matter, then okay, then we might have the October 1st through 3rd timeline. And then that's it. That's the rest of the program. We may have an interview with Monkey next week. We'll do the week 5 recap probably on Tuesday, potentially, or Monday. We'll see. Depends how fast we move. Week 4 recap, week 5 preview. Get some media posts. Should be finishing up the approach. Have some Monkey be the last one, other than Brad if he wants to do one. And that's it. That's pretty much Super League. So now the last thing we want to talk about, what's the future of this show? Consider this is the last of this kind of the recapping type shows of the year. I don't know the future of this show. All I know is it will return next year in Super League. I think it's perfect for Super League. I like to do this show in T1 because it is a major, and maybe maybe T5 for sure. I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing for T2 through 4. I don't know. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun work, but you have to understand T1 or the regular season, there's just so many games going on. It's probably only going to be a T1 thing. You know what I'm saying? It's only going to be a T5, a major thing right now. I can't really say, oh, it's coming back for the whole season because there are some things that need to be worked out and ironed out. I'd like to have it for most of this season next year, but we might have a hybrid where this only becomes a major show and then the podcast becomes a regular season thing. It's hard to know. It's really, or maybe we do recordings privately, right, when we can. We really won't know the future of this show until we take a dive in the off season on what we can do. All I know is next year the marketing of this will be better. I believe next year will be the best year of the league because this year we just didn't have an off season to tackle anything. If we had more of an off season, I believe me, we would have had more time. But you have to understand last year, the moment we finished up December 12th, we went straight into the holidays, and what else do we really have to lose? So keep that in mind when you're doing these shows and listening to all this stuff. For myself and Art, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow for 1 o'clock Acosta's interview. Have a good night, everybody.